You're tuned in to the DMV Hoops Podcast.
This is John the Scripter, head girls basketball coach at St. John's College High School, and this is the DMV Hoops Podcast.
Welcome to the DMV Hoops Podcast, the DMV's home for high school basketball. Hosted by Kirk Cross and featuring Chelsie Cross. We bring you the latest news, interviews, rankings, recruiting buzz, and standout performances from the public and private school basketball scene across Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Stream us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Buzzsprout, YouTube, and everywhere podcasts are heard. Now, let's get into it. Here's your host, Kirk Cross.
Welcome to the DMV Hoops Podcast. As always, I'm Kirk Cross, and she is
Chelsie Cross.
We are at the Morgan and Kathy Wood Gymnasium, Capital Hoops Summer League at DeMatha. Over here in Hyattsville, Maryland, we bring you the coaches, we bring you the players, and the stories. We're coming up on playoff time, and we have a coach with us. He travels a little bit of distance to get here, and that's okay. We'd like to welcome Coach Coach Corriero, Kent Island, to the podcast. Thanks for being here, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Coach, the first thing I want to know is you did it at Meade. You're doing well at Kent Island. This year's class is half seniors. What keeps you doing it?
I keep asking myself that, and the funny thing is when you come to the summer leagues and you see coaches that you coached against 10, 15 years ago, you're like, wow, they just keep recycling us. But it's the competitive nature. I think that's just an internal thing that we all have. We love to compete. We love to work with young men, teach them basketball. Hopefully what we teach them can be applied to life. But it's competing. It's the camaraderie amongst the guys. It's fun to come to a summer league like this, too. So when you take a little time away from it and you start thinking like, all right, now I should be scheduling. Now I should be ordering equipment. Now I should be ordering basketballs. It's kind of like everything that you missed. You're like, oh, well, I have an opportunity to do it again. So, I mean, that's kind of what keeps it coming back.
All right, and now it's no secret. There's a little bit of distance between you and this summer league. Why this summer league?
Well, number one, we did the DeMatha Summer League a long time ago at Meade, and I just remember that really helped prepare our teams for the regular season and beyond that, hopefully. But it was the toughest summer league I thought we can do. I know Mark from Capital Hoops, and when after last season I reached out to Mark. I said, Mark, if we can get into this league, I know it could definitely help us, and fortunately we were able to get in, and it's great. I mean, the competition every night is tough. You have to coach. You have to play hard. There's no easy game. There's no night off. Everything has to be done 110%. And the great thing about it is you can see what you need to work on, and you see where you have to get better because you're doing it against really good competition. And I think that's just going to help us in the long run.
I mean, because years ago, the summer leagues were, when you were at Meade, you're probably staying in Howard, Anne Arundel County, you're not, right? But you're seeing the same faces and the same players and coaches you see all the time. Now you get public school competition, private school competition. We all know D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, not just this immediate area, but D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. I mean, you get, Wacomico, Salisbury, Kent Island. I mean, you're getting teams from, the girls in Garrett County are always on the state stage. I mean, you're getting great competition no matter where you go, but there's something about it. It ticks a little bit higher the closer you get to D.C., doesn't it?
It definitely does. But I tell you what, we had 2 state finalists from our side of the bridge.
You did?
Y High and Cambridge South Dorchester represented the Bayside Conference very well. And, we hope to represent the conference, too, coming out. And that, again, that's why we're doing it. And we want to be – this is where we want to play. I mean, it used to be back in the day you went to Comcast, so – my philosophy was the closer you play to Comcast, maybe if there's a camp or something at Comcast you can do, just to get on that floor. But now, no, playing in this league is definitely going to help prepare us for this upcoming season.
You mentioned how a couple teams from your conference represented on the state level. Tell me about that and kind of how DMV basketball is not just MCPS, PG, private schools, but how these other conferences, yours included, are kind of also a part of this mecca.
Yeah, for the longest, you see, when I was at Meade, we used to come over and play Kent Island, and they would come over and play us. So I was always familiar with a little bit with Eastern Shore basketball. But no, there's some really good basketball players over on the Eastern Shore. And you know, the way our conference is set up, it's a pretty big conference, 18 teams.
Right.
And you have, I mean, you see it all. You see teams that press, teams that slow things down. There's really good coaches over on our side of the bridge. And, you know, if I can just help a little bit with Kent Island, that we can start coming over here, getting more exposure, playing against, you know, the Prince George's schools, playing against the Anne Arundel schools, the Montgomery County schools, and then you sprinkle in there, you know, a John Carroll from the A Conference or, you know, Concordia Prep. It's a great schedule for us. It's teams that, you know, we normally won't see during the season. And, again, the whole goal is to get better. And if we can do that here, I think we're achieving our goal.
What got you to Kent Island?
Yeah, how much time do you have on the podcast?
Well, we own the airwaves, so how much time do you want?
So long story short, when I stepped away from Meade, I had 2 little kids. And, you know, to be honest with you, I just needed the space. Okay. And housing over there, a little more affordable. From Anne Arundel. All right, I lived in Anne Arundel County for 20 years, but no, we got a great house. My kids moved out there. They're little. They're 3 and 5. So I volunteered I volunteered on the staff 2 years ago. Really had no intention of getting back in. And then the head coach at the time, great guy. We won our region. He decided to step down, and they're kind of like, well, you'll be our new head coach. That's kind of how it worked out. But I've always known about Kent Island. Their principal, Mr. Harding, great principal. He was the athletic director when we would play them, so I was always pretty familiar with Kent Island.
Okay, all right. You know, I'm going to go totally in a different direction, still with basketball. On court 1 right now, we have something that we haven't seen for years. For the past couple of years, we've seen it, but before that, we haven't. We have a woman coaching a varsity team in Springbrook over there. And how have you seen the women's game, you know, evolve? And, I mean, she went to a state final, didn't she?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago. Like, the game is changing in many ways. I mean, the three-point shot, there's no more big men. But how are you seeing the girls' game? I don't know much about the girls' program at Kent Island, but in your years of coaching, how have you seen that emerge and evolve?
You know, I've always been fortunate. I think everywhere I've coached, we've always had a good girls' program, whether it was at St. Mary's 20 years ago, whether it was at Gwynn Park. At Meade, our girls' program was always strong.
You were at PG Gwynn Park?
Yeah.
My man. All right,
yeah.
all right.
06 to 08 with Mike Lick, yeah.
Okay, I know Mike.
Yeah,
yes.
we had a lot of fun. But no, I was always fortunate to be around really good girls basketball. Kent Island's girls program is fantastic. They played in the state finals a couple years ago, but they're always one of the better teams on our side. So, I mean, it's a great thing. And then the one thing I've always tried to do as a head coach is, like, you know, we're all one big program. So, like, anything that, like, any big ticket items that we can buy, like Dr. Dish shooting machines or, like, the Defender Skill Men, like, I've always wanted, like, everyone to work out. And we have that opportunity at our school. But I think it's great. Like I said, I've always been fortunate to be around very good, highly competitive girls basketball. And, I mean, if you know the game, then you know the game. If you love the game and you want to coach and help people and help them become better versions of themselves, whether you're a man or woman, if you can achieve your goal to help these young players, and not just in basketball, but if you can teach them something maybe that they can use in 10, 15, 20 years, then you're doing your job.
So you mentioned how you get the defenders, you get the shooting machines. Tell me a bit about your coaching style.
So I'm very free-flowing. Again, I've always been fortunate. I've been around guys like Mike Lick, Josh Pratt, when I was younger in my early 20s.
He knows all the guys I know. Is Josh still with Spalding?
He's still with Spalding.
All right, I was hoping to see him here today.
I was with Pratt at St. Mary's, again, 20-plus years ago. But I've always had very good mentors. So the way I've always kind of done things, it's been similar. I try to adjust based on the talent that's available to us. But defensively, I play a lot of zone. I like a lot of the quote-unquote chunk defenses, the box and ones, triangle and twos. Offensively, I like to play to our strengths. If we have someone that can shoot, let's run something to get him the ball. If we have a big down low, let's run something to get him the ball. If we have a fast team, let's play fast. Let's push the ball. Take a good look, but let's move the basketball. And I always felt when you get everyone involved and, it opens things up a little more. So it depends on the talent that you have, and then you adjust from what you do to your talent and hopefully get the best out of them. But I also like to get gritty. That's part of my style. In practice every day, doesn't matter where I'm at. We do a kind of like a shell rebounding drill where we assign points for defensive rebounds, offensive rebounds. And I really think if you can get after the basketball on defense and rebound the basketball and push the basketball, good things will happen, especially when you play hard.
We never can get rid of that shell drill, can we?
Never.
So if you know Pratt, you know my very good friend Steve Turner.
I met Steve a few times. You got to remember, when I came onto the Glick Pratt scene, they were in their 40s. I'm in my 20s, so like we're going to Gwynn Park. Pratt's going to Towson Catholic. I'm like, I'm like the new one on the branch. Well, not anymore, but back 20 years ago.
You're still a young guy.
I'm still a young guy. I still have money. Well, actually, it's funny. He's not here tonight, but one of Pratt's assistants played for me and coached with me for a little bit, Clyburn. You probably see him around.
That makes you feel old, right?
It makes me feel old, but also makes me feel good.
No, it absolutely has to. Tell me, you coached long enough. You know Coach Harwood.
Not personally. I know who he is, yes.
Right. We had him on the show earlier. There's a lot of history there and a lot of basketball knowledge there. Let me ask you this. In your years, what are the biggest changes you've seen in the game? I mean, like I said, I make there's no secret. I wish we could get back to the basket, on the block, big man basketball.
You tell me. I mean, it's funny because, I don't really watch a whole lot of NBA, but I'm a huge Knicks fan. And if they could have won in 1994, I would have been happy as an 11-year-old.
Because he should have dunked it instead of finger rolling it.
Well, and, Stark's 2 for 18, but if in 1994, I would have been happy. But to me, I love that basketball. It's gritty, it's low scoring, guys are getting after it on defense. And if you watch the NBA today, it's high scoring, leads aren't safe at any point.
No.
And the finals prove that. And I think that trickled down to high school where a lot of these players, they're super skilled and they can make a lot of shots. Even if you play good defense, players are able to make shots now. And I think that has ultimately changed the game. Plus going to the shot clock. I think my last year at Meade, they went to a 35-second. Okay. And then now it's 30. And to me, there's a big difference between 35 and 30. So the game's a lot faster now in terms of shot clock. And players are running more sets and guys are able to make more shots now. And then also the technology with the equipment, like Dr. Dishes are tracking your arc on your shot and your percentages. So it's great. It makes it exciting. And, like I said earlier, it's like you see the same faces, but you also see the same faces being successful. So I think it's how you adapt to the game, to the players today, and you stay true to your core of what you do as a coach. And I think ultimately that's how you stay successful too.
I don't know what your coaching plans are, but I'm wondering if you retire one day in this long distant future, what do you want your legacy to be at these different schools and kind of as a whole?
It's really simple. It's just if you work hard and do things the right way, at the end of the day, you may not get what you want, but you're going to work toward a goal. And I think if you have a goal and you work toward that goal, whether you achieve it or not, it's all about, it's cliche, but it's about the journey, not so much the destination. And if you have a good work habit and you have good tendencies and you can be a better person and you can take something from basketball that you can apply to life. And, looking back at my career, I've had a lot of players that even though like I said, I'm relatively younger than my mentors, I've had a lot of players get into coaching. Several players are head coaches somewhere. And to me, like when I look back at that, like Tristan Easton is on my staff. He was a 2-time Anne Arundel County Player of the Year for us at Meade and leading scorer at the time. He's to have him come back and work with the young man, and it's kind of surreal watching him coach the players, because like you hope he got some good things from you that he could tell the players, and he has. So when you look back on it, it's my legacy with the players is 5, 10, 15 years.
When were you last at Meade?
2018 was the last season.
So you know Mr. Noon. Nick Noon. He's one of my clients.
There you go.
He's one of my clients. We're in the DJ business, so we do all the homecomings, proms, photo booths, all that stuff.
That's awesome.
Yes, so we do that. Chelsie, looked like you had something for her.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask, and you kind of answered it. In general, whether it's on or off the court, what is your greatest joy in your players and your past players?
Well, the greatest joy is when you work toward a goal, whatever it is, and you can see them achieving that goal. So if you want your players to rebound, then you see them boxing out and attacking the ball hard. If you want your players to, press, and they're running the press and they're rotating and they're picking up the closest man to the basketball. Wins and losses are enjoyable, but the main thing is you want to see your players buy in. You want to see them, have that continuity on the court. So when you see that, I think win or lose, it's not as important. But when you see them working as a unit toward a goal, whether they achieve it or not, when you see it, again, they're working hard, and that's really enjoyable when you see kind of like your efforts pay off with the players.
My final question. Why should someone listening to this podcast find themselves in Stevensville in December or January watching Kent Island? What are they going to see?
Well, hopefully they're going to see exciting basketball. That's the main thing. They're going to see a gritty team that's going to play hard, play the right way, play hard defense. That's got to be our thing. One of the things I'm proud of, we didn't do it tonight, but one of the things that I am proud of so far with the Summer League is we've won the rebounding battle in every game. And as a coach, like I said earlier, we practice rebounding in Shell every day. We didn't win a rebounding battle tonight, but that's something that, one of our goals was to set out and rebound the basketball. So, if you're going to see us, you're going to see, like, again, kind of that old school blue collar mentality where we're going to play D, we're going to rebound, and we're going to try to be a team that can represent the Bayside Conference.
You got a Charles Oakley on that team?
Maybe. Maybe we could develop one.
Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Pete Corriero. He's with Kent Island. Thank you, Coach, for joining us. This is the DMV Hoops Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to the DMV Hoops Podcast, your home for high school basketball coverage across the DMV. Be sure to subscribe, follow, and share the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, YouTube, Buzzsprout, and everywhere podcasts are heard. Follow us on Instagram and X at DMV Hoops Podcast. The DMV Hoops Podcast is hosted by Kirk Cross, featuring Chelsie Cross. Thanks for listening.